Hello and welcome. Welcome into a consciousness in which you will be living in the very near space of time. For you are vibrationally in its midst already, and you feel the great difference in the world that this vibration reflects. We welcome you from this world because we are one voice that speaks as your guides, if you will, who will usher you into this vibrational reality in what you could only say is miraculous, in a miraculous way, in a miraculous time. For you have entered the age of miracles in the way that you think of them, something outside your everyday consciousness appears in your life, is experienced in your life, something that is not thought of as possible or even a thought. These are what you think of miracles. The things that others may have said are impossible or have defined reality in such a way where it would not be possible. All of that is a reality in which your embodiment is untethering from. We have been speaking to you and guiding to you, and you have been correct in acknowledging that these are teachings from this new world. These are what we call the bridge teachings. They are the teachings that are good for the bridge between two worlds, the bridge which you are now, have already stepped onto and now are moving across. You are experiencing rapid teachings and consciousness for this new world. We spoke to you yesterday of one such teaching, and now today we have spoken another. We are illuminating, we are bringing to your awareness the truth of being able to put on the mind of Christ, which is really the mind of your divine being. We have invited you to do that with Mukti Ananda Ma, the name of your divine being, as it is now for this new world that you are crossing into. Many are given the name of their divine being in this world. They are already using it, or they are on the verge of using it, or they are aware of it. This name, as we've explained before, holds the vibrational keys that will project onto the plasma screen of life, the higher world that you are seated already with. Seated in your case with a frequency of delight, the delight seed. We have been bringing to your mind very much the idea, the reality, even in your world, of transfiguration. An example that goes on every day, every year, every decade, and every millennium. The simple butterfly giving you an example of the possibility of transfiguring a body from a form state to a liquid state and back to a form that is a higher vibrational form, capable of doing much more. You have begun that cocooning Your form becoming plasma-like, you are becoming aware of that. Liquid light, if you will. We are bringing this to your mind so that your former world mind won't get in the way of what's happening, won't stop it, won't put walls around it, keeping you from the full expression of this transfiguration process. It is possible to go from a form in a denser world to become liquefied after one has already been born and to be transfigured into another form. It's kind of funny and ironic, isn't it, that not many have studied this process. There should be great teachings on this. The butterfly held up as the premier example in your world of daily transfiguration, escaping the death of a caterpillar and entering the life of a butterfly. There is much more happening there in that expression of life that you are unaware of yet in your world, for there is no death for the butterfly. Even though your eyes cannot see that, as yet the consciousness cannot see the totality of reality even happening in its world. And so let us begin what we wanted to talk about today specifically, and that is putting on the mind of Christ. Putting on the mind of Mukti Ananda Ma, putting on the mind of your higher divine being, your divine being of the next reality, the reality without death, the reality that can cross over into the world of death in a form where you reside, coming to and fro worlds, creating another world of earth where the divine beings visiting. Of course, we've seen examples in that, real stories, if you will, illustrations in the Bible, but at that time, that was not a very high expression of this crossover of divine beings into the world of mortals. But we are replaying this theme, this story, this movie at a higher vibrational range, at a higher octave, if you will. That's why many who are on this path are done with the ways of relationships and sex and all those things, addictions and such. They have come and experienced that and run its course. The divine being is entering into a well-traveled soul in the world of death. There's no temptation for it anymore in the world of death, and this is how we are doing it this time around. The two are becoming one. The soul that has experienced hundreds, if not thousands of lifetimes in the world of death, merging with the divine aspect of that soul to become one unified being. And so that this time of divine beings coming into the world of death will be much, much successful in its mission to provide the experience to those who have been trapped in this cycle in the world of death beyond the expiration point they desired. It is a way to come and remind them in a visual sense, to speak to them in a form and a body that they can understand, to gently guide them back home. And so it is important to put on the mind of Christ, to put on the mind of the divine being that you are, to put on the divine mind. What does it mean to put on the divine mind? Is to think from this divine expanded consciousness of light, this higher vibrational matrix of thought, to think from that instead of to think from the mind of the death world's identity. You are beginning as Mukti Ananda Ma to see the vast difference when you think from the old identity versus the identity of Mukti Ananda Ma. The thoughts are very different. The focus of the day is very different. The awareness of this is the first step. And as more and more you think from the mind of Mukti Ananda Ma, this higher vibrational reality, this divine being mind, that will be the operating awareness from which your world is transfigured from the intelligence of Source. You've already noticed that the divine mind gives no thought to the how. It is in rapture. It is in ecstasy. It is in union with the source of life itself, being delighted by the mysterious ways that it orchestrates all of life. It is like the union that is hidden in the story of Christ and Mary Magdalene. The union of consciousness with its source. As we've already spoke of, the mind is always a less intelligent expression than Source itself. So in divine union, there is surrender to this expanded, higher, unlimited intelligence. When one gives up the how, one receives the infinite. When one gives up the how, one receives the infinite answer, the infinite gift, the infinite, miraculous, new reality of experience. The mind of the limited identity is limited by its identity. Always. It may be useful. It is useful. But not in the way that it is used in the world of death, where it is forgotten that you are of infinite source. One can only grow with the mind in the world of death as far as the mind will allow it to go. And when that mind is identified with an identity, with a body, with a history, with a lifetime of experience, with even thousands of lifetimes of experience, it becomes limited. And so the eternal wheel of what's called reincarnation or karma is running the show. The same experiences over and over, dressed up in different costumes. Because of the identification with the mind as the only intelligence that you are. So we invite you to begin to marinate, to become more and more familiar, to become more identified, connected, aware of your divine being. Its essence, its flavor, its desires will lead you back to the essence of your divineness. And when you rest in that, when you follow the thread of your desires back to its source, to its original impulse, you will find your nature. And in resting in that, your divine thoughts, the mind of the infinite, expressing through your divinity, your divine identity, will be seen, will be known. We have given you a lot today. And we are ready for any questions that you may have.
Thank you. In following, in putting on the mind of Christ, do you have any practices, specific practices that you would offer?
We don't like the word practice because it implies that it's something you do not have, but you are acquiring it through methods. Your awareness, your consciousness, your ability to be aware and focused is what we recommend that you employ. For all beings are aware at some level. It's an awareness. Even those that you think are in unconscious states, in things such as a coma. Even in death, you are aware. Awareness never comes and goes. It's just the directing of awareness. One begins when they wake up to realize they have choice. What you put your attention on can be chosen. So we say choose. Choose to focus on being aware of your divine being. As you become more and more aware of this divine being that you are, the thoughts bubble up from that quite naturally. There's no practice, there's no effort, there's no trying to find the divine thoughts. They happen because they must. Because the source, which is your awareness, directed. That is the source of all that you experience. The source is how you are directing your awareness and on what. If your awareness is constantly glued to the now, you will keep experiencing the now over and over and over for lifetimes. This is where the imagination comes in, for without the imagination, you are lost, you are stuck. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You are forever trapped in the now, repeating itself endlessly. The imagination is not some made-up world. It's a faculty that you have to see truth, to see the expanse of the great I am. We hope we've answered your question.
Yes, thank you. This transfiguration, this is also achieved through focusing on the divine self.
It's very much likened to the birth of a child, the growth in the womb, or the transfiguration of the caterpillar, where it's not so much effort, it's the knowing that you hold on to, this knowing that this is your destiny. And in that knowing and the understanding of who you are and the understanding of life and the understanding of awareness will unfold this great mystery for you to experience. It's not you. Do you think it's the caterpillar that micromanages its transfiguration, or you in the womb that micromanages your growth, the growth of your limbs and organs? Do you micromanage your very life, this moment, and everything that your body is doing? There is no doer in these great things. There is no doer that is the I. The doer is the source. The doer is the creator of the I. It is not possible for you with your mind and the questions that are being asked from it. It is not possible for you to give birth, is it? No matter how well you meditate, you understand that as a man, that is not going to happen. Even for a woman who decides that she will make a baby, she cannot literally make the baby. She cannot make its fingernails, she cannot make its hair, she cannot make its eye color, she cannot do all these things. There is a surrender that happens with the great mystery of life. That surrender is everywhere. It's just that the mind, the limited mind of the death body, thinks that it is responsible, that it is the doer of much of its life, when in fact it isn't. And the only thing that that thought and that focal point is doing is putting restraints on the great mystery of life to unfold in the most amazing ways. It is limiting the great power of life to express endlessly and better and better and gooder and more miraculous and miraculous expressions as time unrolls. So we say, you rest in your knowing, in your being, and you delight in allowing life to do its thing, to do what life does, lives, expresses, expands, and always and forever reaching to the light, always the light. That is life. It always reaches to the light, always. Even in nature, you can see that. It reaches to the light for higher heights, expansion. We hope that answers your question.
Yes, all of them.
So we are complete.
Thank you. Yes.
Very good. Very good.